Hey everyone, in this absolutely crazy, fast paced world we live in, just finding a moment of peace can feel, well, impossible, right? Today, we're going to dive into a simple but really powerful framework that might just change everything for you.
I mean, think about it. We are just bombarded by notifications, other people's opinions, and this constant demand for our attention. It's a lot. And all that noise from the outside, it can make our inner world feel totally chaotic.
But what if the answer isn't some huge, complicated life change? What if getting to that calm, tranquil place just boils down to a few really powerful, intentional shifts in how we think?
Well, the source material for this explainer suggests it all comes down to one single number. 3. Just 3 core ideas that can totally transform our relationship with the world around us, and maybe even more importantly, with ourselves. So what are they? Okay, here are the 3 keys we're going to break down. First, how to protect your peace from what other people say. Second, how to see the good in everything. And third, how to really embrace silence and stillness. Let's get into it.
All right, first up, this key is all about playing defense. It's about managing what we actually let in from the outside world.
It sounds so simple, doesn't it? Don't let others' words ruin your peace. But really think about it for a second. How many times has one little comment or some random criticism just completely thrown off your entire day? This idea right here is our first line of defense. And this really gets to the heart of the battle, right? On one side, you've got all these external opinions, which are totally uncontrollable and always shifting. Trying to control them is a recipe for anxiety. But on the other side, you have your own internal stability. And that's the one thing you actually have control over. That's where real peace comes from. Now, this is super important. We're not talking about building a giant wall and blocking everyone out. No way. This is about creating a shield. It's like developing a filter, You learn to let the helpful, constructive stuff in, but you let all that destructive negativity just bounce right off. You're the one who decides what gets through. Okay, so if key number 1 was all about defense, this one's about offense. It's about taking an active role in shaping your own internal world. Now, I know what you might be thinking. See the good in everyone and everything. That sounds a little Pollyanna, maybe. A little naive? But it's actually a super powerful, active practice. This isn't about pretending problems don't exist. It's about making a conscious choice about where you put your focus. And this really shows the huge difference in how you can approach things. The default mode, right, the reactive way, is to just see the problems and feel like a victim of your circumstances. But the active choice is to intentionally hunt for the lesson, or the silver lining, or the opportunity. You stop being a victim of your situation and you become the creator of your point of view. So let's make this real for a second. Imagine a project you poured your heart and soul into, just completely bombs. It fails. The default reactive mindset, it immediately jumps to blame, to frustration, to that sinking feeling of defeat. But if you apply this principle, you make a conscious shift. That failure, it's not the end of the story. It's just data. It becomes this incredible opportunity to figure out what went wrong, to find a better way, and to rebuild something even stronger. See? You've completely reframed the whole thing. Okay, on to our third and final key. We've built our shield, we've chosen our lens. Now it's all about creating an environment that actually lets peace in. And I just love the way this is phrased. Fall in love with silence and stillness. It's not just about putting up with quiet, it's about actively seeking it out, really cherishing it, and understanding how incredibly valuable it is. Let's be real, we live in a world of nonstop distraction. It just drains our focus and fills our heads with clutter. But intentionally finding quiet, even if it's just for 5 minutes, it does the complete opposite. It's like plugging in your brain to recharge. It gives you clarity. So we really have to stop thinking about silence as just empty space where there's no noise. It's not that. It's the presence of opportunity. It's the room you need to actually hear your own thoughts, to work through problems, and just to connect with yourself for a minute without the whole world screaming at you. So, okay, we've got these 3 powerful keys. How do they all work together to actually unlock a more peaceful life? Let's pull it all together. When you look at it, it's a pretty simple 3-step process. First, you filter the external voices to protect yourself. Second, you focus on the good to shape your own reality. And third, you find that quiet space to actually hear yourself think. Filter,
focus, find. Simple as that.
You can think of it like this. You're building a whole system for your own peace. You've got an outer shield to protect you, an inner lens to guide you, and an intentional space to recharge. When you put them all together, you've basically built a fortress of inner calm.
So the real question here isn't if these keys work, it's which one are you going to start with today? Are you going to focus on building that shield, maybe adjusting your lens, or just finding a little quiet space? The whole path really does begin with that one choice. Thanks so much for tuning in.